Hey everybody, Paul Mack here. I just wanted to show you what I got at the auction. I've got actually a couple of boxes of glass and or I guess clay insulators. Now these are antiques. These were used on the top of telephone poles back in the day. They're made of glass so that they would, not conduct current. And they've got inside, there are threads inside that are molded into the glass so that you can stick it on the threads of a top of a telephone pole and run your wires. Back in the day, there's the blue ones. I kind of like the blue ones. They're real pretty. This one says Hemingway, number 42, made in USA. I mean, back then, where else would they be made? But I've got some that I've never seen before. This is a really larger one there. Not sure what the slot on top is for. I don't really know much about them other than they carried phone wires and, if you could go back far enough, telegraph wires or whatever. These here, I've got a couple. There's another one kind of like that one. It's got threads on the inside. This one looks like it's made of, kind of like pottery, made of clay and then fired. And then these insulators actually have screws on them. That one's a little bit bent, but they've got holes there so that you can run the wire through the holes. Well, first you'd screw it to the pole, maybe on the side, maybe on cross rails, I don't know. Up top on cross rails, something like that, and then run your wires. Anyway, insulators. And I tell you, on the farm, even today, if you had enough of them, especially this kind right here, you could run your electric fencing to them, especially on corners. Screw this into a tree or a corner post or whatever, and run your wires through them. Those would be heavy-duty insulators that may never come out of that tree or post. So it'd be good for that. Oh, here's some little bitty ones. Never seen any like that before. Little bitty ones. Now this is handy for the farm. Let me tell you this. Did you know what this is? You say, well, yeah, it looks like a plow. You're right. It is a plow foot, but it's what it's attached to that makes it special. This is a plow foot attachment for a tiller. You've got the two brackets here, the foot of your tiller that normally goes down and keeps the tiller from propelling too quickly and also sets the depth adjustment. You can put this with this little, well, actually it's a big cotter pin here. You could set that on the foot, look probably of any tiller, and the beauty of this is that instead of just the stick of the foot sticking in the ground, this actually is opening up a furrow where you're tilling. So for instance, if you wanted to plant potatoes, you want to kind of put the seed taters down low in the dirt, this would open up a deep furrow, throw the dirt to one side. As a matter of fact, it also has wings that attach to it. So if I don't know how they go, let's see, maybe, how would that go? Oh yeah, and probably like, I'm not sure. Maybe it goes like that. No, it wouldn't go like that. Probably like that. Yeah, I guess it goes like this. So you would attach these wings to it, and you can actually throw the dirt out a little farther. And it's got little slots on it, so you could adjust that angle of throwing the dirt. So this is very handy no matter what. I imagine this would go on just about any brand tiller. So it's a tiller foot for opening up a furrow while you're tilling. Very handy for the small farm or gardener. Hey, I wanted to mention that today's video is sponsored by me, and I've got some things you might be interested in. One of them is a book called Common Trees and Their Uses for the Small Farm or Homestead. Now this is a book that takes more than 30 different types of trees that are pretty common throughout North America, and not only does it explain the different characteristics about that tree, like the grain and how easy it splits or doesn't split or whatever, but this book shows you what each specific species of tree is good for as it relates to the farm. Some trees make great fence posts. Some trees are good for making handles. like for a pitchfork or for a hammer or saw blade handles. And this book explains what tree is good for what. But not only is this a book that talks about the wood and its different characteristics and what it's good for, this book is also an identification guide that you could actually take out into the woods. It has a picture of each tree's leaf and the bark so that you could even tell what tree is what in winter when there's no leaves at all. Common trees and their uses for the small farm or homestead. To buy the book, go to my website, farmhandscompanion.com, drill down to the general store page, and you can see all the books and different things I have available for sale. So go to farmhandscompanion.com. Look, I've got some old books, and not just old books, but old songbooks for church. This one I think is from the 1955 Singing Scriptures. So these songs are basically tunes that are put to various texts of Scripture there. This one is Happy Songs for Boys and Girls, and it is, let's see, 1952, so a little hymnal for kids. And then we're getting a little older here. This one, Gospel Melodies and Evangelistic Hymns, and it's got a picture of the back of a man. He's sitting at the big old pipe organ there, cranking them out. Published in Tacoma Park, Washington, D.C. This one is 1944, so right there at the end of World War II, they're cranking out the gospel melodies. And Morning Light, little hymnal songbook. Now this one is put out by the Stamps, Baxter Music and Printing Company. So, and this one too is put out by them. This one is Favorite Songs and Hymns, Shape Notes. Do you know what that means? Shape Notes. That was a thing back in the day that the company, the Stamps, Baxter Music and Printing Company, kind of made popular. In order to sell their hymnals, their songbooks, they would host classes all over the South, maybe elsewhere, I don't know, but pretty much all over the South. They would hold classes, and they would teach people who many times didn't know how to read or write how to sing, so that when they went to church, they could actually read the music. And this is how they did it. You've heard the old do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. Well, each one of those notes in the common scale had a particular shape, like a triangle or a half circle or a whole circle or a diamond shape. Each one of those little notes had a different shape so that you could recognize which shape you were at in the scale. So they would print out the music so that anybody, if they knew the tonic note, could actually sing a song, even if they weren't educated enough to read music. My mother went to one of those Stamps Baxter's shape note classes when she was a little girl, and that's how she got her start in singing in church. So, Shape Notes by the Stamps Baxter Company. This brown was 1939, so pre-World War II. And then this one, Lights of Life, published by the Hartford Music Company, Hartford, Arkansas. Who would have known that Hartford, Arkansas had a printing company back in 1936? So there we go. Let's see, this one too has shape notes. So I guess they stole that from Stamps Baxter. I don't know. Might have been a lawsuit over that one. And then the oldest one I've got here is the Gospel in Song. And it is by the Review and Herald Publishing Association, Washington, D.C., 1926. So very old hymnal. Several old hymnals. I did it this time. Look what I found here. An old-time hay hook or grapple. This is what would hang from the barn loft. A lot of times the big old barns, to get hay, loose hay, because at the time, a lot of people didn't have balers or hay presses, so they would bring loose hay. They would mow hay, rake it, and bring it loose in the back of a wagon to the barn. But to get it up into the huge hay lofts, they would have at the ridge pole of the barn, the top center of the barn, where the two roofs met, they would have a trolley that ran on a track, either a metal track or a wood track, and it would go out beyond the opening of the loft to the end there, and this would be suspended on part of that trolley. It's almost like a block and tackle, and with certain ropes you could let this down, and you would, you know, spread these apart, and you would grapple the hay on the wagon, and then as you pulled it up, the mechanism that fits into the trolley would trigger something, and then it would swing way inside the back of the barn, where you could pull another rope and open these up through this contraption here, pull another lever, this would open this up, cause these to drop the hay right in the corner, and then you could swing it back to the edge of the barn, and the whole process starts again. These came in several shapes. I think I've got another one that stays open that I've shown on the show in the past. This one's a little bit different design. Sometimes they were just U-shaped forks, and sometimes just single forks that dropped down, had a mechanism that triggered and held the hay and pulled it up into the loft, and where you could release it. So there were different styles. This one has a name on it, Ashland, Myers Ashland O. So that's the hay grapple, or the hay fork. So I was proud of this, and I'm going to resell it. So it could be yours if you got a big barn. I couldn't resist this. This is it's just a pasta machine. My perfect kitchen. Make fresh homemade pasta anytime. Includes double cutting attachment for making both fettuccine and spaghetti. Okay, so chrome plated steel. Look, you can make that flat, you know, spaghetti. Like, I guess that's fettuccine. I'm not Italian. And then you can make the normal round spaghetti. You know, here's the deal. I think my wife and I got one of these as a wedding gift. Oh, you know, 35 years ago. And no, I take that back. I think I got it as an anniversary gift for her. Maybe the first anniversary, something like that. And I don't remember one batch of fresh pasta ever being made. I don't think she ever used it. And I ended up, and it's the funny thing is we do eat spaghetti, so I never quite understood that, but I guess she just didn't want to go to the trouble, which is understandable. She's a busy lady. We're all busy. But anyway, many years later, like 30 years later, actually not that long ago, I found it, dug it out of the pantry or store closet or wherever it was, and I put a price tag on it and sold it at our flea market booth, and got rid of it. And here I am buying another one to resell, which, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have just rebought my own pasta maker that I never even used. Well, I'll sell it again, I guess.